Today, NCC News will be covering stories from across the globe and right here in our community. Leading off the night, a court in India settles a decades-long dispute. Flooding threatens historic sites in Venice, Vladimir Putin taunts the nation on national television, and record low temperatures hit the Northeast. These stories and more coming up on NCC News.
First, we went deep sea fishing.
Wow! I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark.
That was awesome! Let's go again!
3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
So this is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. If I say dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you come.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
I fainted at the sight of blood. Me, a nurse? I had no idea that's what I'd be when I went to NCC. But NCC is not like other colleges.
NCC has a Student Success Center where counselors assist every student in creating a future.
I'm so happy. Nurse Robbins. I created that.
Be who you want to be. Create your future at NCC.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Hello and welcome to NCC News. I'm Jessica Duraco.
Juan Villarroel. Our top story tonight covers a high court decision in India over a decades-long debate.
After years of debate and conflict, the contested holy site has been granted to Hindus for the creation of a temple. Muslims who also claim rights to the land have been offered land elsewhere as compensation. Here's Vikas Pandey with the story.
Today marks the end of one of India's most controversial and deadliest religious disputes. And that happened after the Supreme Court ruled that the bitterly contested holy site in Ayodhya city should be given to Hindus. Hindus believe that the site is the birthplace of Lord Ram, who is one of their most revered gods, and they want a temple to be constructed there. And the court has agreed. It has ordered federal officials to set up a trust to oversee the construction of the temple. But Muslims say they have prayed at the Babri Mosque for generations, that is, until it was demolished by Hindu mobs in 1992. The court said the destruction was against the rule of law, and it ordered that Muslims should be given 5 acres of land for a mosque to be built in Ayodhya. Hindu groups have welcomed the ruling, saying it is a result of their decades-long legal campaign, but Muslim litigants say they may file a review petition in the case.
The worst flooding in 50 years hits the city of Venice this week. Water levels have been so bad that the city has been taken to a state of emergency. As many historical landmarks are threatened by the apocalyptic level of flooding, Carol Stooner has the story.
Tonight, tourist suitcases floating away in Venice. The mayor declaring a state of emergency, saying the city is on its knees. Famous landmarks like 1,200-year-old St. Mark's Basilica inundated, water flowing through the church.
My life, this was the first time like this.
St. Mark's Square, now a swimming pool. Hotels and shops turned into canals as water rushes through buildings.
All the clothing, all the things in the shops, in the grocery stores, it was all very devastating.
The floods have caused at least 2 deaths, and Venice's mayor is blaming the worst flood his city has seen in more than 50 years on climate change.
President Vladimir Putin openly taunts the nation on live television when asked about Russia's involvement with the 2016 presidential election, also offering to meddle again in 2020 for America's benefit. Let's throw to Frederick Pleitgen for more.
At some points be talking White House talking points or President Trump's own talking points when he ripped into the impeachment inquiry and indeed made fun of the U.S. and possibly meddling in future elections. Here's what we're learning.
Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
Tonight, Russian President Vladimir Putin trolling the United States, joking about meddling in the presidential election and saying he'll do it again.
I'll tell you a secret. Yes, of course we'll do it. To finally make you happier. Just don't tell anyone.
Putin also backing the demands of some in Washington to see further transcripts of President Donald Trump's interactions with other world leaders, including the Putin summit in Helsinki last year.
We're in for a cold one over the next few days as record low temps fall over the northeast. Temperatures expected to reach well below freezing as a cold front moves in from the north. Meteorologist Allison Chinchar tells us where this weather is coming from.
Temperature. You can see where that front is, all the cold air behind it. Looking at these morning low temperatures in the single digits for portions of the Midwest, then it becomes much more widespread as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday of the upcoming week. And it's going to be very cold. We're not just talking 10 degrees or so below average. For many of these areas, all these dots represent potential record cold temperatures, over 250 of them from Monday all the way until Wednesday. But it begs the question, it's November, so where is this cold air coming from? Because this isn't normally a time of year where you would get such cold air pushing down. Well, here's the thing. It all originates really far to the north. You can see that temperature trend pushing that cold air initially down into the Midwest, then into the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and eventually down into the Southeast to a place like Nashville, for example. But here's the thing, and this is the really cool part, Martin and Christy. That air that's going to be in Nashville later this week originated back in the northern portion of the Northwest Territories in Canada. Yes, the Arctic Circle. Just a few days ago.
Saving money is on everyone's mind, but Norwalk locals are unwilling to compromise when it comes to healthy options. Liza Steph Carlson took a brief look inside one local business that specializes in healthy options to get their take on things. Here's what she found.
Recession? Really?
There's a lot of natural health related businesses on this block.
On this Wall Street.
You have the Center for Natural Healing, Sarah's Yoga Joint.
Business is
flourishing.
Healthy. The owners of the Stand Juice Company say people are not cutting back on their health.
The green juices are definitely the top seller.
We asked local nutritionist Geraldine Zakoff to weigh in.
If I'm going to be drinking the juice and the vegetables and the skin, then I'd want to know if it's organic so it doesn't have any pesticide on it.
The answer to that, 100%.
A new trend in men's fashion makes its debut in our area. Will this extra stock accessory change the game for men's dress shirts? Ron Jolson takes us inside the factory to see how it works.
It's tucked in. The struggle is real for men.
It winds up looking blousy, sloppy, and then they spend half their day sticking their hands in their pants trying to retuck.
Jason Devereaux's solution? Garters for men. The accessory connects the bottom of the shirt to the top of the sock, allowing guys to move around without worrying about their look.
It's certainly a product that every man needs. We're simply making it accessible, fashionable, cool, and something that men really want to wear and show off.
The KK&J garters are handmade in Brooklyn. A close-knit team of less than half a dozen workers pumping out hundreds of them each day.
Coming up next on the better half of our show, we take news into the hallways of NCC, talking to students' rising cafeteria prices and the looming consolidation of Connecticut community colleges.
Not to mention the excitement around NCC's new mascot and a look into the history of modern media from NCC's History Symposium.
All right, I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
What college are you going to?
I don't know.
What do you want to be?
I don't know. My parents want me to be an architect.
Architect?
Yeah, but it's my future. I want to do something that turns me on.
What turns you on?
I don't know.
We know NCC has a Student Success Center where counselors assist every student in creating a future.
You'd make a cute pirate.
I don't know.
We know. Be who you want to be. Create your future at NCC.
That's low.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextsstopwrecks.org.
Campus Story shines a light on rising cafeteria prices at NCC. Prices have been steadily rising for years, and finally have people talking, going as far as to petition the student council government for aid in the matter. We went inside the school to get a better understanding of things. Forced into the option of picking from either a healthy but expensive meal or a cheap and unhealthy one. After speaking with the student and council government, it was revealed that the cafeteria on campus faces little to no regulation from the school itself, leaving them to dictate prices however they see fit. Whether this is fair to students or not, the increased prices are being noticed, and reactions range from frustration to a begrudging understanding. Here's what a few NCC regulars had to say on the matter.
It's 2017. The prices kept going up for the food. It used to. I remember it would go up 25 cents every year.
A lot of people turn to the cafeteria food here as their option, if they have a full day of classes, and we don't want as a school to be promoting that, it's easier to buy a bag of chips than it is to buy an apple or, something that's better for you.
It's good for the school, not good for students. I want my Philly cheesesteak at $3. I think that's a reasonable price for it. And coming from a school that has to be cheap, it does need money for it to thrive and to be around so we can have a cheap education. And it's going to be a tug and war.
I guess I can't blame a business for raising their prices because it is their right. We as the consumers have to make that choice to buy it or not, so we can't really do anything about it. But if you're asking me how I feel about it, I think the prices are pretty fair, no more, no less. I thought they were pretty fair, so if they are going up, I'll probably still buy from them, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
The state of Connecticut is currently pushing forward a plan to consolidate all of its community colleges under one umbrella. While all the effects of a change like this are still unknown, it has both teachers and students worried about their place in the process. More on this story and how NCC is reacting to it right now.
Ojekian, president of the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities System, presented his plan to consolidate the administrative functions of the community colleges to the system's accreditor April 11th. This was the second time that he presented a plan to the accreditor, the New England Commission of Higher Education. When Ojekian originally proposed the consolidation plan nearly a year ago, the commission said it was not, quote, persuaded that planning for the new Community College of Connecticut as outlined is realistic. We spoke to a few NCC students who had their own concerns on the matter.
I would say it's somewhat of a good decision. It's somewhat of a bad decision.
I don't know. It just seems like unnecessary in my eyes. Like, why is my big question. Like, if
if we're fine over here and they're fine over there, just like the networking of it, I don't understand of like why you would do something like that.
I would rather them operate as small entities because then you can get different opportunities and different choices at different colleges. If you're putting them all under one umbrella, there might be some sort of state mandate that says, hey, everyone has to run an English as a second language program, and then they have to hire more professors, which might decrease the quality of the professors because they're lowering their standards. Then maybe the program won't be as good as it is. Say if it was just at 1 or 2 colleges, now it's at 10, but the quality of the class drops.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea considering that I think we are one of the best community colleges in the state.
As of now, Connecticut is set to continue the consolidation process through 2020, and only time will tell if it works out to be a benefit for students or a detriment.
Despite having no sports team and no distinguishing symbols, NCC has not let that stop them from looking for a new mascot. With enrollment numbers dropping each year, the school is looking for a way to drum up excitement by rebranding NCC under a new face. Let's learn a little more and see what some of the NCC community thinks. Mascots are well known when it comes to professional and even college sports teams. They are the face of the team and often of the school itself. But for a school with no such team to represent NCC, hopes to focus on building a sense of community around this symbol. Students support the plan and of course have their own ideas what it should look like.
I feel like that'd be cute because like we'll grow into a tree. I like acorns. It's a bird. It should be a bird. Yeah.
I never really thought of NCC having like a mascot. I could see it being like a really big book or something. Like, so somebody just dressed as a book. I don't know. I mean, that's just the first thing that came to mind. So, a big book, yeah.
I think it would be, I don't know, I'm feeling like a knight, a paladin, or a wolf.
The scarecrows. I'll tell you why, because there's great fall scenery around this school, and fall's a big semester. People are coming. The summer just ended, and a lot of people are coming here for the first time. Leaves are falling, and I think the NCC scarecrows would be tremendous, and I would actually volunteer to dress up as a scarecrow for the first home game, even though we don't have a sports team, but I'll still do it.
Each and every year, NCC hosts its History Symposium, where it gives time to a few of its professors to speak on a variety of topics. This year was no different, and the crowds were as fervent as ever. NCC News has the opportunity to take a closer look at the event. Let's take a look.
He held its 15th annual History Symposium on Wednesday, October 3rd. The symposium, titled Time for Fear, From the Russian Revolution to Joseph McCarthy, was split into 2 sections and featured a series of faculty speakers who presented a number of topics. We sat down with Professor of Communications John Shields to see how he prepared.
I just went to some of my research, both online and also some books that I had about the Nixon-Kennedy debates. But also, I was interested in how it is that it leads to contemporary ideas. Television begot the internet begot Twitter, and a lot of it is just reportage of the current day.
Professor Shields covered several examples of visual media's effect on the growth of the nation, and how it reached the status it holds today.
I got a lot about the history, just about, especially since I'm not American, how things happened back then and what it took to get us to the place that America is at now.
Though this symposium only happens once a year, televised media is a constant part of our lives today, and learning about its history may give us a clue as to what the future holds.
Now let's have a sit-down with a member of TV3. Here's a deeper look into aspiring film student Andrew Santo.
Michael Adams? Here. Michael Adams? Here. Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
And now, an interview with Andrew Santo.
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a NASCAR driver, but knowing that you need a shit ton of money, that's not going to work. So I was finding different career paths to go down, and it was 10th grade in high school that I wanted to do sports broadcasting. Talking about football every day for your life, which I love, talking about baseball, NASCAR, everything. Imagine having your hobby, and your hobby is your way of living. Working for the film industry and anything when it comes to news, reporting, journalism, sports broadcasting, or even being a director in Hollywood, or even an actor. You need to know what you need to know now, and know how to work a camera, know how each position does their job. And if you can have a great group of writers, including yourself, to work together, take the time and effort to make what you have worked so hard to do, then do it. And that's my passion. I have many favorite movies growing up. I always loved war films because I just love the history of them. And if I did have to choose a war film to be one of my favorites, I would have to say The Pacific. It really tells you a lot of stories about each and every character that you know, or you probably won't know, that will die or live to go back home to their families. And it gives out a little piece of life to everything. The most important aspect of filmmaking, I would say, is probably learn from your mistakes. If you want to take as many takes as like Tarantino and make different scenarios for different scenes that's not even written up, but if you can pick and decide which of those scenes you feel is more natural and more better for the audience to enjoy, if you can stretch from the rules and add something, just add a little spice of something to make it great. By adding a little something in that's not supposed to be there is where it adds that little bit of natural life to it. Each and everybody will have a story, and each and every story deserves to be told. It's one in a million things in life that needs to be known. How do you wake up every day out of bed? How do you enjoy everyday life? What conflicts did you go through? How did you get through them? And just how to cope with everyday life with everybody else.
Finally, for tonight, a look into this interesting relationship between two creative titans, how Paul McCartney and Kanye West ended up working together, forming a lasting friendship.
Never stop stops thinking about his wife, Kim Kardashian West? Just ask Sir Paul McCartney. The Beatles legend spoke about meeting with the rapper back in 2014 to produce their collaboration, Only One, and now Kanye just couldn't stop looking at photos of his wife. Very sweet. McCartney tells Billboard they met on neutral ground, a cottage at the Beverly Hills Hotel. He adds, quote, "I was sitting around strumming the guitar. That's normally how I start a song. And Kanye was looking at his iPad, basically scrolling through images of Kim." I'm just imagining all of this. McCartney also said the pair swapped stories with each other before going on to collaborate on the tracks Only One, All Day, and 4 or 5 Seconds. McCartney says, quote, "At one point I told him how Let It Be came from a dream about my mother who had died years before. And Kanye said, I'm going to write a song about my mother." McCartney started playing some chords and singing, and that song became Only One.
That's all the time we have for tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our program and have a good evening.
Also, don't forget to tune in to NCC News coming up next for more interesting stories that are surely relevant to you.
This shit, right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those hands.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We've done what you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me. Hey, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry.
Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
Coming up next on NCC News, the latest Blizzard's headlines rock the gaming community. This story and more next time on NCC News.